All right, welcome back to the channel. So it is official. Gary Russell Jr. is famous. He is ridiculously clout chased by a top ranked fighter named Donald something. I don't think I'm going to say his name in this video, but it's interesting because it shows you that Gary Russell Jr. has now arrived in the public eye, and hopefully Top Rank or somebody, Top Rank or the Zone, can put him in a situation where we can see him fight on a regular basis. This is good for Gary Russell Jr., and I want to explain why getting called out by somebody whose name I don't even care to remember is a great sign. Let's talk about this in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Gary Russell Jr. is, and I'm not doing a video about this particular topic because I'm done with it. Thank you very much. But Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr., Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney, because Gary Russell Jr. is the longer reigning champion. Gary Russell Jr. And Devin Haney have been going in a back and forth that has been seen by a lot of people about a fight with one another. And as a result of all this back and forth, Gary Russell Jr.'s name has grown, and his what do you call it? His profile, his platform, all of that has grown exponentially as a result of him showing that he was interested in being the best and would be willing to move all the way up to 147 pounds to fight Terrence Crawford. He was dead serious about it. I think now, especially if on the outside chance that, that Mayweather Promotions gets their heads together and straightens their minds up about this a little bit, and takes a better path, provided, that stuff can be worked out and Gary Russell Jr. is able to fight Devin Haney. Dude, man, this is just great stuff for Gary Russell Jr. And the reason why I'm saying that I'm starting to see the effects of it is there was a video that came out yesterday on Fight Hype, and it was Donald Smith. I didn't watch the video. I just read the title. But I do encourage you to go watch the video, read the title. But I promise you, just even from the outside look, I don't have to look at what the guy actually said. I know what he's going to say. He's going to say that Gary Russell Jr. is, ducking, and all this calling out stuff is BS, and his resume's trash. He ain't never beat anybody, and I would whoop him. All of that stuff, right? So the echo chamber continues, right? The echo chamber continues. However, I do think that this is getting to the point where maybe, it can be like the silly situation that happened with Corey Lee. Because there's Corey Lee boxing, and there was somebody else. I can't remember. I'm not going to try to remember every, journeyman that thinks that they can beat Floyd Mayweather, that can beat one of these top guys. For example, like this guy, Donald Young. Let me go to my history. Sorry, man. I'm gonna look at it real quick because I'm old and my memory is fading. Paying the price for, anyway, Donald Smith, whatever. It's not even necessary. He's a top-ranked fighter who fought like in the 5th fight before a Jason Sosa fight in his last fight. He's just nobody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This is like nobody. He's just a club fighter jumping out there talking about how he's going to beat Gary Russell Jr. and now Gary Russell's this or that. But Gary Russell Jr., the fact that he's from Top Rank, I would say, hey, yeah, you want to whoop me? Good. Tell Bob Arum to send the contract. Tell Bob Arum to sign the contract, because even though this is on Fight Hype, this is a Bob Arum fighter. And in the situation that Gary Russell Jr. is in with nobody wanting to fight him, you know what I mean? Because seriously, man, you guys can say what y'all want about how anybody's going to roll through Gary Russell Jr. You guys are saying it, but you ain't never seen it. You know what I mean? Ever. And people have been like, this guy talking out the side of his mouth. I mean, whatever, dog. Like, whatever. The fact that, yeah, whatever. That's all I can say. Whatever, man. It's bananas, man. It's like bananas. So my only question is, how could Gary Russell Jr. respond to that, right? He can't respond to it by talking about the guy, right? Because the guy is just the guy. It's like, it's Fighter X. You know what I mean? It's Fighter X. It's not even it's just, you know, like if you guys used to play Mike Tyson's, not Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but like Fight Night or something like that, they would have these boxers that were just there. If you had the career mode, there were guys, you know, where you might be a young Ali and then, you know, you turn professional, and the guys you can knock out in like 30 seconds, it's these type of guys. It's those type of guys. It's the fodder. It's the fodder. What's fodder? You know, like, I never really understood what fodder was, but I know it's something where you're just like something you use to burn and use as fuel, right? That's what he is. He's just, you know, he's just the wood you throw into the fire. That, you know, that's it. He's not none of these guys. But so why would these news outlets and stuff put this guy on there saying that stuff about Gary Russell Jr. and steadily attacking Gary Russell Jr.? You know, hey, if for no other reason than that, go over there to ask Bob Arum if he's serious. Like, if I was Gary, I would be taking anybody want to fight me, cool. Tell you, who's your promoter? Oh, your promoter's Bob Arum? Sure, I'll fight him. What do I get after I beat you half to death? You know what I mean? After I humiliate you, I'll humiliate you for a quick paycheck over there on ESPN. No worries. Set it up. Give me 1 million, 1.1 to beat this journeyman up. Cool. But Bob Arum's going to say, I want some options. I want some options on your next 2 fights, your next 3 fights. Well, what do those options look like? And how much money is attached to them options? You know what I mean? Because 30 years old, I got a bunch of kids, dog. We got to get this popping. So all in all, man, Gary Russell Jr. is going to come out of this looking great. And in fact, dude, Gary Russell Jr. has already won. Completely already won. And let me tell you why I say that he's already won. It's no mystery what I think happened with the fight with Devin Haney. However, because he got out of that unscathed, he won. And now the insistence to keep hating on him is only going to continue to build his name because people are out there trying to get views on his back. That's cool, because now that you're trying to get views on his back and people can actually get views on his back, that just means that now somebody, when he's going to the table and saying, hey, look, this is how much money I want to make to beat up this dude, this tomato can. You want me to beat up a tomato can? I ain't got any problem. Usually I beat contenders, like, you know, mandatories. You might not, somebody like a King Tug or somebody like JoJo Diaz. No worries, man. I can do that. Right? Do that for ESPN. And in fact, shoot, hey, man, why don't you give me Naverette? Since your boy from ESPN want to call me out and say that he's going to whoop me, how about you put that dude Naverette out there? Put his head on the chopping block. I'll sign with you if my second fight is with Naverette. And if I don't get the second fight with Naverette, I want out. You know what I mean? Like, tie it tight. And he should go. Man, this is a beautiful thing for Gary Russell Jr., man. It's a beautiful thing. When Batman, who was his advisor, Batman told Gary Russell Jr., and I think that it's okay because, you know, because Batman put that out, you know, said, look, Gary, you're going to have to either be loved or you're going to have to be hated. You're going to have to do something. But, you know, whatever you got to do, man, you got to get these people looking at you, talking about you so you can get these fights. And Gary Russell Jr., who's just a really quiet, I don't know if he's a quiet dude, but is a strong family man who really ain't into all of that stuff, dude, listened. And now you see what happens. Now he's the talk of the town, dog. Now he's the talk of the town. He has an opportunity with his increased audience and with his increased, visibility. He has the ability now to become a commodity himself. And it is such a beautiful thing, man. And that, I think, is a testament to his, it's a testament to Gary Russell Jr.'s vision, and it's a testament to Gary Russell Jr.'s commitment to his own self. When he said that, look, man, I want to be an own free agent, and he maintained being a free agent, and he was like, look, I'm not going to sign. Like, I want to be able to go wherever I want to go. And, you know, he might have drawn the eye. In my opinion, he drew the ire of some people that want to keep him necessarily from moving up and being able to maximize, you know, his talents in a financial manner, right? But he persevered, and he got a crack. And once he got a crack, he got a shot on the political side, not the boxing side, because he can handle his business in the ring. But once he got a shot in the political side of it, you got to see that there really is a fan base for Gary Russell Jr. There is an interest that can be created by a small black southpaw. They will show the desire and want that fight. As long as there's not, some my fighter comes before your fighter type of thing. Like, yeah, there's a finite number of opportunities, and I'm going to take all the opportunities for guys that work with me and guys that don't work with me, and I don't like they don't get any of the opportunities. If there's any of that type of internal hoarding that's going on, man, what a beautiful way to be able to get out of it by starting a controversy, being honest about it too, by saying, hey, man, I'll lay my entire career on the line to fight Terrence Crawford. I'll lay my entire career on the line for Devin Haney. You know what I mean? It's just a beautiful thing, and I'm really happy to see it happen for Gary Russell Jr. You got you some haters now, man. So you got yourself something to work with. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.